What if I told you that building generational wealth isn't just about hitting a certain net worth number? According to Forbes, the average financial metric that defines somebody as having wealth is around 2.5 million in net worth. But what if the most valuable inheritance that you could leave your children isn't captured in your bank statements at all? You know what's funny? I see so many people rushing to implement strategies like the Rockefeller waterfall method with life insurance trusts after watching one YouTube video. When one, they're not even in the tax bracket where the strategy makes sense. Two, there are much more appropriate stepping stones before that based on where they actually are financially. And three, even if they did set up that fancy trust, their heirs don't even have the basic financial literacy to maintain it. That's how you end up like the Vanderbilts, fabulously wealthy in one generation and nearly broke in the next. So on this episode of Money Talks with Njideka, I'm going to be discussing examples that I've seen of building true generational wealth and what that looks like, especially for families of color. And this goes beyond the numbers, and it highlights some critical elements that your children need from you that's not only about profit, but also includes principle. Hey, I am Njideka, a financial advisor and business coach who helps ambitious professionals transform from overworked high earners to strategic wealth builders. Now, before we dive in, as always, I want to encourage you to engage with this video by giving it a thumbs up, drop me a comment below with your questions, and share it if you think that it can help somebody else on their financial journey. Now, let's talk about generational wealth. So when we look at wealth in America, the numbers are staggering. To be in the top 1% of earners, you need to make between $540,000 and $819,000 annually, depending on whose metrics you're using. That's $45,000 to $68,000 per month. And as I mentioned earlier, most financial outlets believe that you need about 2.5 million to be even considered wealthy, and even higher in places like California, where the threshold is about 3 to 4 million. But these numbers only tell half the story. What I've observed from mentors and people that I respect is that true generational wealth encompasses both quantitative elements, so your net worth, your income, and your assets, and qualitative elements that are harder to measure, but equally important. So today, I want to expand your understanding of what generational wealth truly means, especially for our communities. The first element of generational wealth that I'm going to talk about goes far beyond investment accounts and property deed. It actually involves a foundation that is absolutely critical before you even think about opening a 529 college savings plan for your child. So the first and most fundamental element of building generational wealth is breaking the cycle of survival mode thinking. When we live in survival mode, constantly worried about making ends meet, working multiple jobs, neglecting our health, we're not just damaging our own well-being, we are modeling a relationship with money that our children will inherit. Here's what many people don't realize. Your children are watching how you interact with money. They notice when you avoid opening bills. They feel the tension when unexpected expenses arise. They internalize your stress around finances even when you think that you're hiding it. Breaking this cycle starts with reclaiming your own relationship with money. So this means first acknowledging where you are. If you're in survival mode, recognize it without judgment. Many of us inherited this state from our parents who inherited it from theirs. Second, prioritize moving from surviving to stabilizing. This might mean building that first $1,000 emergency fund, even if it takes months. It might mean seeking therapy to address money traumas. It might mean having honest conversations with your partner about financial fears. Third, let your children witness your journey. When age appropriate, share what you're learning about money. Let them see you making intentional choices rather than reactive ones. And the next element of generational wealth transfer is something I rarely hear discussed in financial circles, but it's absolutely fundamental to creating true financial security for your children. So the second element of building generational wealth is creating a genuine safety net for your children, one that goes beyond just money in the bank. In our communities, generational wealth means your child always having a home to come back to. It means your young people feeling secure because they know that if they needed help because things got that bad, they have a village of 5 to 10 people who could easily provide support. This safety net gives your children something priceless, the freedom to take risks. When young people know that they won't end up homeless if they fail, they can pursue education, start businesses, and chase opportunities that might otherwise seem too risky. So here's how to build this safety net. First, you strengthen your community bonds. This isn't just about family, but it's about building relationships with friends, mentors, and community members who can form a support network. Second, if possible, secure stable housing that you own. Property ownership remains one of the most powerful ways to create security, not just as a financial asset, but as a physical space your family can always access. Third, be explicit about the safety net with your children. Many of us grew up with the unspoken understanding that we were on our own after 18. Change that narrative by clearly communicating that your home is always their home too. The next element of generational wealth starts before your child is even born and continues throughout their life. Heck, this investment might be the most important one that you will ever make for your family's financial future. So, the third critical element of building generational wealth is investing in health, both yours and your children. This is something that's really discussed in financial planning, but medical debt is the leading cause of bankruptcy in America. Chronic health conditions can drain families' resources for generations, and the health disparities in communities of color have profound economic consequences. So, true generational wealth includes investing in your health while you're pregnant and raising your child. This means prioritizing prenatal care, nutrition, and your own well-being, even when time and resources are limited. It means breaking negative health cycles in your family. So whether it's addressing patterns of chronic disease through preventative care, prioritizing mental health treatment, or modeling healthy relationships with food and exercise. You want to teach your children that health is wealth. Because when we show our children that taking care of their bodies and minds is a form of self-investment, we are giving them a foundation that no amount of money can replace. I remember hearing about a family where the grandmother had untreated diabetes that led to complications requiring expensive care in her final years. Her daughter, seeing this, made different choices. She prioritized preventative care, and she taught her own children about nutrition and health management. 3 generations later, the financial impact of those different approaches is going to be profound. Now let's talk about the financial structures that protect your family's financial future. So let me go ahead and share the exact framework for ensuring your wealth transfers efficiently to the next generation and how to avoid becoming an accidental burden on your children. So while the qualitative elements that we've discussed are foundational, we cannot ignore the importance of proper financial structures in building generational wealth. Creating true financial legacy requires intentional planning in several key areas. First, retirement planning that ensures self-sufficiency. One of the greatest gifts that you can give your children is not becoming an accidental financial burden in your later years. This means maximizing retirement accounts like 401ks and IRAs, understanding Social Security strategies, and creating additional income streams that will support you throughout retirement. Second, proper insurance protection. And this includes not just life insurance to replace your income if something happens to you, but also discussions about long-term care insurance to cover extended medical needs that could otherwise deplete your assets and leave nothing for the next generation. Third, estate planning documents that transfer wealth efficiently. This means establishing trusts, having a will, and ensuring that beneficiary designations are updated on all accounts. For communities of color, this is especially critical as we are more likely to die without wills and other important documentation, leading to probate costs and family conflicts that may erode wealth. And fourth, tax-efficient wealth transfer strategies. So this might include annual gifting to children and grandchildren. It might mean funding 529 college savings plans or establishing a family LLC or foundations that can preserve wealth across generations while minimizing tax burden. What makes these structures powerful isn't just the mechanics, it's the intentionality behind them. When you create these systems and explain them to your children, you're not just transferring assets, you are transferring financial literacy and responsibility. And the fifth and perhaps most crucial element of building generational wealth is understanding that your example determines whether you pass down wealth or fracture, whether you hand off the baton or make the next generation restart the race. Children learn their most important money lessons not from what we say, but from what we do. Your example creates the blueprint of ambition and options that they will follow. This means demonstrating financial literacy in action. Let your children see you budgeting, researching investments, and making intentional decisions about money. Involve them in age-appropriate financial discussion. Model emotional intelligence around money. Show them how to process financial setbacks without shame and how to celebrate wins without attaching self-worth to net worth, and how to make value-based decisions about spending and saving. Live the ambition that you want them to inherit. If you want your children to dream big, they need to see you pursuing your own goals and ambition even when it's difficult. I've seen families where parents worked multiple jobs to provide but never pursued their own dreams, and their children internalized that limitation. I've also seen families where parents started small businesses at their kitchen tables, and their children grew up believing entrepreneurship was a natural path. Your example isn't about being perfect. It is about being intentional and allowing your children to witness both your struggles and your growth. Building true generational wealth is a journey that encompasses far more than just financial assets. It's about creating a new legacy of possibility for your family, and that includes both qualitative elements, again, the net worth, the investments, and income, and the qualitative elements that truly sustain families across generations. And if you are ready to start building this kind of comprehensive wealth for your family, I invite you to join my Boldly Building Wealth community, where we address all these elements of generational wealth building. You can also get on the waitlist for my 6-week boot camp, which is a program where we take it to the next level of intentionality to create your family's wealth blueprint. And if you found this video valuable, you will definitely want to check out my next video on why even a 6-figure salary may not be laying the stepping stones to wealth in a way that you desire. In that video, I break down the specific barriers that keep high earners trapped in cycles of financial stress. So remember, the greatest inheritance that you can leave your children isn't just money. It is the example, safety net, health foundation, and mindset that will allow them to thrive for generations to come. So hit that subscribe button so you do not miss any of my wealth building strategies, and I will see you on the next video.